What's good? What's good? What's good? YouTube American RX at it again. Um, yeah. In this bill, I'm just gonna touch on the history of the King James version of the Bible, and the reason why I'm getting into this level of the research is because I wanna put your perspective back in history, leading up to now, so you could have an understanding of what's going on, what's taking place, and how is it affecting your life now, or your lives now, as it relates to everyday situations, and you go about your daily living. I'm saying history affects the future. I'm saying the past affects the future. So I just want to put it in perspective so you guys can have like a wider outlook. And I'm also gonna go further back, even before the King James Bible, the previous scriptures that these Bibles were translated from. All right, so let's build. When James first came to the throne of England, he found the established church in a sadly divided state. Right, so they were divided, right? Because there was a lot of rebellions going on. I'm saying a lot of changes was taking place in Europe. Shout out to BibleResearch.com for this information. They were conformists who were satisfied with things as then found and were willing to conform to existing usages. And they were Puritans who longed for a better state of things and were determined to have it. These parties appealed to the king, and the Puritans had great hopes that he would favor their side. Right? In October 1603, James therefore called a conference to meet in Hampton Court Palace. In the coming January, for a hearing and for determining things pretended to be amiss in the church. So far as the objects chiefly sought were concerned, this conference was a failure, but there began a movement for the version of the English Bible, now so widely accepted. Right? So, as I'm saying, it's different version of the scriptures that was translated from the Hebrew. I'm saying Tanakh. All right. There were various versions before the King James version, right? Because prior to this version, you had the Bishop Bible, you had the Great Bible, you have the Tyndale Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's like different version, the Geneva, and then from all these documents came from the Septuagint. The Septuagint came from the Hebrew text. I'm saying Tanakh. Okay, they were present on that occasion, the leading divines, lawyers, and laymen. The Church of England, among them was Dr. John Reynolds, president of Corpus Christi College, Oxford. On the second day of the conference, this gentleman, in the course of discussion, suggested to the king that a new version was exceedingly desirable because of the many errors in the version then in use. Okay, so the one that they had that during that time had many errors, many transliteration errors. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that suggestion led to the action which, after some little delay, inaugurated measures for King James Version. All right, as I told you, it's a version of the scriptures. The scriptures are universal laws written by ancient ancestors, right? The churchly party resisted the movement for a time because they suspect some Puritan mischief be behind it. On the other hand, the Puritan party pressed immediate action, and the king so managed affairs as to please both sides. And finally, to secure their hearty cooperation, he very decidedly favored proposition of Puritans, right? So you have the Puritans, right? But at the same time, he pronounced the Genevan version, right, to be the worst of all in the English language, and thereby pleased the conformist party. Arrangements for this version were completed by appointment of 54 learned men. Okay, so these are 54 of their translators that got together to translate it from the text, the Septuagint text, all right, which is Greek, right? Were also to secure the suggestion of all competent persons, that, as the king put it, our said translation may have the help and furtherance of all our principal learned men within this our kingdom. This attitude of the king, the removal of their first suspicion, and the undoubted merits of the case, brought about a hearty acquiescence on the part of those who had at first opposed the movement. His Majesty's instructions to the translator were these. Instructions for the translator. All right, people, pay attention, all right? Check it out. These are instructions. Ordinary Bible, read in the church, commonly called a bishop's Bible, be followed and as little altered as the original would permit. The names of the prophets and the holy writers with the other names in the text to be retained as near as may be, accordingly as they are vulgarly used. All ecclesiastic words to be kept, as the word church not be translated congregation, okay? When any word had diverse significations had to be kept, which had been mostly commonly used by most eminent fathers, being agreeable to the propriety of the place and the analogies of faith. The division of chapters to be altered either not at all or as little as may be, if necessary to so require. No marginal notes at all to be affixed, but only explanation of Hebrew or Greek words, okay? Which cannot without some circumlocution be briefly and fitly be expressed in the text. Such quotations of places to be marginally set down as shall serve for the fit reference of one scripture to another. Every particular man of each company to take the same chapter or chapters, having translated or amend them, right, severally by himself where he thinks good, or to meet together to confirm what they have done and agree for their part what shall stand. Okay, so they decide what they're going to change or amend, you know what I'm saying, or add to it. So they already added stuff to it, right, to start the actual true scriptures, right? As any one company had dispatched any one book in this manner, they shall send it to the rest to be considered of seriously and judiciously, for his Majesty is very careful on this point. 10. If any company upon review of this book so sent shall doubt or differ upon any places, send them word thereof to note the places, and therewithal to send their reasons, to which if they consent not, the difference to be compounded at the general meeting, which is to be of the chief persons of each company at the end of the work. 11. When any place of special obscurity is doubted of, letters to be directed by authority to send to any learned man in the land for his judgment of such a place. Tongues. No. 12. Letters to be sent from every bishop to the rest of his clergy, admonishing them of this translation in hand, right? And to move and charge as many as being skillful in the tongues have taken pains in that kind, send their particular observation to the company, either at Westminster, Cambridge, or Oxford, according as it was directed before it the king's letter to the archbishop. All right, so Cambridge or your Oxford, right? They're the people who created the dictionaries. All right, so you could cross-reference some of these words from the Oxford dictionary or the Cambridge dictionary. Okay, all right, because these are the people who assemble the Bible or compile the Bible, should I say? I'm saying before in the king's letter to the archbishop. 13. The directors in each company to be the deans of Westminster and Chester for Westminster, the king's professors in Hebrew and Greek, right? So remember I told you the original text was written in Hebrew, all right, or Hebrew. Greek was just a later version, right, from the Hebrew, okay? And the two universities, these translations to be used when they agree better with the text than the bishop's Bible. Tyndale's, Coverdale's, Matthews, Rogers, which churches, Cremers, right? Geneva, okay? Those are the many versions of the text. 15. By a later rule, 3 or 4 of the most ancient and grave divines in either of the universities are employed in translating to be assigned to be overseers of the translation for the better observation of 4 rule. Only 47 of the men appointed for this work are known to have engaged in it. These were divided into 6 companies, 2 of which met at Oxford, 2 at Cambridge, and 2 at Westminster. They were presided over severally by Dean of Westminster and by 2 Hebrew professors, right, of the universities, right? So you had a Hebrew professor, right, somebody who could translate Hebrew, okay? So the first company at Westminster, 10 in number, was assigned the Old Testament as far as 2 Kings. The second company, 7 in number, had the epistles. The first company at Cambridge, numbering 8, had 2 Chronicles to Ecclesiastes. The second company, numbering 7, had the apocryphal books. The first Oxford company, 7 in number, were assigned the prophetical books from Isaiah to Malachi. To the second 8 in number were given the 4 Gospels, the Acts, and the Apocalypse, right? Or Revelation, which Revelation is no, right? Apocalypse is no, right? So the Bible is written in different like categories, right? You have the epistles, the Gospels, right? And I think you have the law as well, right? A few of the principal men among those learned translators were these: Dr. Lancelot Andrews, Dean of Westminster, presided over the Westminster Company. Fuller says of him, the world wanted learning to know how to learn. This man was so skilled in art, especially Oriental language, as some conceive he might, if then living, almost have served as an interpreter general at the confusion of tongues. He became successively Bishop of Chichester, Ely, and Winchester. Born 1555, died 1626. Dr. Edward Lively, Regius Professor of Hebrew at Cambridge, and thus at the head of the Cambridge Company, was eminent for his knowledge of Oriental languages, especially of Hebrew, right? He died in 1605, having been Professor of Hebrew for 25 years. His death was a great loss to the work which he had helped to begin, but not to complete. Okay, so he's the only one that knew